I want to talk to you today about investing in yourself. Now, I want to shed some light on a bit of a story. So when I was the MD of the advertising agency, we were a small privately owned company, and we were about, what were we, maybe 30 or 40 worldwide. And I was running the region for the business. And through my 11 years there, I did very little, up through the sales channels. I did very little professional development. We invested so little in our people and in me, in our senior executive team. But professionally, we really just didn't invest in ourselves. And it wasn't until we went through an acquisition and we were acquired by the biggest media communications company in kind of Southern Hemisphere, and I had the opportunity then to finally tap into, I guess, a learning and development program, which was awesome. And the other thing that happened was that I met with I was the MD, so I met with the parent company CEO. But in that meeting, I said I was really excited because I was a female, obviously a female leader in my business, and surrounded by fairly, largely male owners and team. And I was really keen on seeing what other female leaders existed within the parent company and what they were doing. And so I'd read, and it was quite, of interest to me to see what leadership programs they might have for senior females. And there was nothing. So he in the typical kind of, executive, it's a typical thing. If it doesn't exist, he says to me, well, okay, you can go create it. And so I said, great, I'll create it. So I created a thing called the Women in Leadership Team. And it really just made me feel supported. It gave me a community to kind of email and call if I needed to. And it was just the beginning for me of seeing the power of connection in that way, and community and networking and support. And I left a few years after we started that, and I obviously took a completely different direction in opening my store, and then now I'm in the south of France. But I'm still connected, not just through LinkedIn, but friends with some people that were in that, some women that were in that groups. Then I went into entrepreneur land and I opened my store. So very little time, and of course you feel like you're cash strapped because you're putting all your extra cash back into the business. So what do? You don't invest in yourself. When I set out last year to say, okay, well, I need to invest in myself because now I realize that I'm into a completely new chapter. I know what transformative work I've done in the past with a coach. I personally invested in that coach 10 years ago when I was with the agency. So that was the only actual personal development that I did, but nothing that, from the company. And I know how transformative working with a coach has been for me. So I set out to find another coach, and I joined a program about midway through this year that, that has completely changed the trajectory of me and my business, and will forever. It's that grand. And I just think, and off the back of being a part of that in a short time frame, I have been able to be, super aligned with my why and my purpose and what I'm doing. But it's all of the other bits that I get with this group that are amazing. So I want to tell you a little bit about what I'm getting, because my new program is bringing to you what I'm getting in this group, and it is it's phenomenal. I can't tell you what it means to me and what it does for me. So my coach one-on-one, helps me set me on on my path on a weekly basis. She really works with me on my mindset in our calls that we have. It's about learning and support. And so there's a really beautiful connection that I have with my actual coach, Amber. And then when I think about, the investment that I've made, initially it was a big investment for me. And I was really tentative because I didn't know whether or not I would get it back or whether or not it would pay off. But man, oh man, it's probably paid off tenfold. I'm thinking about just this week. This week I had a group coaching call. So we all get together and there's 20 or 30 women on the call, and we talk about what's going well in our businesses, where we need support, and you hear other stories, and just hearing other stories, they ask questions that are the exact same questions that you might have. So we had a group call. I get direct messages, and we direct message back and forth with not everybody, but a certain number of people. I had a collaboration call yesterday with 4 other women, and we're working on a really exciting program together, like a summit for next year. I've got another call tomorrow. I'm going to be sitting getting my hair done, and I'm going to be having another call with 2 girls to talk about the challenge that I've run this week, and that, you know, challenges in general, so kind of a tactical call. I'm on Voxer. So Voxer is like an app that we use to not just instant message, but instant message by voice message each other. And I have Voxers with people each week. And the Facebook group, so we have a private Facebook group. And if there is something that I'm struggling with technically, or struggling with, you know, for my mindset, or, you know, I'm kind of hitting some blocks, I'll go in there and I will chat with other people, maybe not live, but I'll put a question up, or I need some support in this, in this or in that. And I get responses back from people who care, and it's really beautiful. So, you know, there's 7 or 8 touch points there that have, you know, outside the course that I have with the mastermind, and outside of Amber's support, that support me daily and weekly, and are just so integral to the advancement and the, you know, of my business and my enrichment and my personal development. In developing, over the last year, I've been, you know, coming into my coaching space and working out how I want to serve my community better. And obviously, I have a lot of business background and a lot of background when it comes to, you know, starting my own business and running the agency. And I really wanted to bring together my discovery and transformation of how I've been able to show up for myself in a more simple way in my whole life, in following our dream, coming to France. And creating this kind of beautiful, balanced life. But then also, you know, how can I help others develop and launch and grow successful, thriving businesses themselves? And so I'm bringing these together in a mastermind that's called the Up Level Lab.